Well, hello, welcome to our round 3 NatWest Six Nations preview. We're back. The Six Nations is back. We had a fallow week. How did you cope?
I coped all right, actually.
Yeah,
I just got stuck in some French rugby instead.
Yeah, good. Topping up the tan here at Penny Hill.
Mate, you can't use that. I've just given you that.
What? It's hardly the
is
best line in the world.
Well,
Anyway, welcome.
my
Getting on like a house on fire here as always. We have a chat of all 3 NatWest Six Nations games of round 3 to bring you, with some of the team news and of course the major talking points. Tom May here as well. I'm Nick Heath, and we start with what I'm going to potentially call the game of the weekend in terms of surprise. It won't be a surprise, but I think Italy might turn France over. What are your thoughts?
I think if any side has the capability of losing out to Italy, then it's probably the French. They seem to have turned a corner. They've made a selection as a coaching selection, and everything's just the same. There's no consistency. Okay, there's been some injuries at fly half, and now the players have got themselves into a position where they can't be selected. So nothing's ever easy, is it, for a French management team? And I don't think it's going to get any easier down in Marseille this weekend.
Those players. Sorry to interrupt. Those players, obviously, that are out. There was that incident on their way back from Edinburgh, so they're without Teddy Thomas, their leading try scorer, their only try scorer in the championship so far. No one else in the team has got over the whitewash yet. Ituria, Below, Danty, Lamara, Picamoles, Makalou. None of these faces are included for selection. The last time that France lost to Italy, a certain Jacques Brunel was in charge of Italy at that stage in 2013. So there are a few nice little things to get stuck into. Of the changes we've seen, Palais hasn't made it. Bonneval's been selected ahead of him. Bastereau is in. I know Andy Goods had another little pop at him for looking as athletic as he does for international rugby. And a 20-year-old Couillot on the bench, scored 8 tries for Lyon so far, the 20-year-old scrum half. What chance do you give France? I mean, I think they will be favourites.
Yeah, I give them a strong chance. I just think Italy, if they've ever got a chance to knock someone over away from home, then it's probably the French. Bastereau, he's had a bit of a layoff. It will be busting a gut to get back playing, no doubt.
And what a gut!
So cheap. But I think when he's got the ball in his hand, he's certainly a devastating player, and he'll take some stopping. So, look, Vakatawa is not even in the 23. He's been one of their outstanding players over the past few seasons during the Six Nations. So that's a sure sign that things aren't quite clicking for the French. They've made some selections and brought in the likes of Benjamin Fowl, who really is pretty hit and miss. So I think they're struggling a bit. They'll want to get this. However long they've banned these players for, they'll want to move that out of the way, get their injury, the guys that have been injured, like Jalibert, back fit, and almost start again.
Yeah, well, I think during the week, Brunel has said that it's not about necessarily undoing a ban for these other guys. It's a case of whether they feel they're good enough to come back and replace the guys that they brought in after their little misdemeanour. 291 caps for the French starting 15, 504 for the Italians. Everybody talks about this magic number between 700 and 1,000 you need for a World Cup. The French, arguably fairly undercooked in that department going into this one.
Yeah, I mean, they're not using their tried and tested, but they haven't used their tried and tested for a number of years. The amount of players that the French management have got through over the last 3 Six Nations is vast. Look on the flip side, actually, the players that are playing the best rugby for Italy are probably the ones with the fewest caps. So, Minozzi at fullback, we've talked about him in our review shows, haven't we?
Fancy Costello and Boney to have a bit of fun in the midfield.
Yeah, it would be an interesting matchup against Bastereau, who's clearly very experienced and will have a bit between the teeth. Dumeira is a fantastic player, very similar to sort of Hugh Jones in the way he sees the game. Look, France will be the favourites, but I don't think it'll be as runaway as some of the other results have been.
Yeah, good. I've got some Italians coming round for dinner. We're going to have beef bourguignon for starter, and then homemade tiramisu for dessert. I mean, that's great. We'll pair some Italian wines and some French dessert wines. We're going all out.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Thanks for the invite.
That's France-Italy. So Friday night's game done and dusted then. Saturday, of course, all attention will turn to Dublin when Ireland take on Wales. And this, well, I think this could be the game of the weekend. England and Scotland fans will feel it's happening at Murrayfield, but I think this one could be an absolute humdinger.
Yeah, there's some concerns, isn't there, over in Ireland, that this Welsh side have enough to turn them over. I mean, you take that fixture away from out of the Six Nations or 2 weeks ago, in Twickenham. It was horrendous conditions. Well, quite possibly could be the same in Dublin, who knows. But I think the team looked a bit blunt. I think the Welsh side looked a bit blunt. They've brought back bigger. Williams is back in. Halfpenny's back in. Gives them some good ammo to lean on.
Yeah.
Perhaps changes the way they play slightly.
Yeah, interesting. RTE talking about Dan Biggar this week, and the quote is arguably the finest out half to chase his own aerial bomb. So they certainly feel that, I think, with Halfpenny back in the side as well, with Liam Williams' ability aerially, that those high balls are going to be really on what try and get Wales on the front foot, and perhaps a bit of concern as to whether Ireland have got the mettle to deal with it.
Well, I think Carney's got enough to deal with it at fullback, and I'm not quite sure whether that's a compliment or not to Dan Biggar, but I imagine it is in a weird way.
Yeah.
It'll change the way or the balance of the side with Reece Patchell out. But there's been so many players in that Welsh side playing well. The back row's functioning brilliantly. Shingler and Navidi. I'm enjoying watching Davis at scrum half. And they came very close to turning England over at Twickenham. So I think that's probably why there is a bit of concern over in Dublin. But it's at Lansdowne Road. I'm trying to think of
the Aviva.
The Aviva. Thank you very much.
Sponsorship.
Yeah, other insurance brands are available, but I don't think that will throw Ireland off too much. They've got a good game plan. Okay, they're missing a few as well. Furlong's out, Henderson's out, and Henshaw's out, obviously with a long-term injury. But I think they're going to be strong enough. They've got quite good strength in depth at the moment, and that's why they're one of the favourites for the tournament on the whole. Yeah,
with Stander back into the side, then Conan drops to the bench. They've also then got the likes of Joey Carberry, who might fancy coming on. Looked pretty decent in the last bit that he played against the Italians. So there's plenty to enjoy. Will the Welsh have enough? Can they prove? Gatland was so confident with his prediction in that opening game against the Scots. He as I know that some people have said, he mystically after the result said he'd predicted exactly what it was going to be. I don't know if he predicted that they'd lose by 6 to England, but he certainly won't be shying away from this fixture and feeling that the Welsh have got anything to be afraid of playing away from home, given how confident they felt going into this tournament.
No, I think every coach understands areas that they might struggle, but I doubt very much whether coaches go in and think, oh well, actually we'll lose this by 6.
Yeah.
And every coach will go into a game thinking, they're confident about their side's ability to turn the other one over, and no doubt Gatland has got some ideas up his sleeve to try and cause Ireland some problems. I think Ireland are moving through the gears. I think they struggled a bit, didn't they, in round 1, but then also it's quite deceptive against an Italian side that don't necessarily put up a huge fight in periods of the game. So we'll see a lot and learn a lot about both sides this weekend.
Yeah, we certainly will. The Welsh also have featured on these images that have been put together by our friends at Cheeky Ruck. If you want to see Anthony Watson's reaction, then stay tuned. Second game then of Saturday is going to be that clash at Murrayfield. Scotland taking on England. We are actually here. This is not Tom May's garden, but this is of course, similar acreage. These are the delightful surrounds of Pennyhill Park. The sun squinting us here on the afternoon as we bring you our preview, and plenty to look forward to in this game. 756 caps England take into this one. Scotland have named an unchanged side. England have just brought Nathan Hughes back in. I mean, the timing of this is incredible, with Sam Simmons unable to play. And Nathan Hughes comes back just in time to fitness. They didn't play him at Wasps at the weekend. England decided to keep Hughes in and absolutely beast him conditioning wise so that he would be fit. What sort of difference do you think he will make to England's back row?
I don't think he'll make a huge amount of difference. I think there's an aspect of his game in terms of the offloading that comes into play. But I think Sam Simmons has been doing brilliantly in that England shirts. I think it's going to be really tough for Nathan Hughes, no matter what fitness you've been doing. Whenever you've come off the back of a tough pre-season, which effectively he's had, it takes you some time. When you start getting thumped and then have to get up and then start running, it's very difficult to cope with. Now I'm sure England have got the fitness and strength and conditioning staff to be able to mirror the sort of exertions that he's going to face, but it's going to be very tough for him against the side that's going to look to try and shift the ball around at hopefully a dry Murrayfield.
Yeah, your couple of preview pieces on punditarena.com this week have talked about the battle of the backs. You've mentioned about the sort of 15s, the influence that Hogg and Brown will have, but an area of potential optimism for the Scots is that 13 channel. You think that that sort of Peter Horne and Jones in that centre might create a little?
Yeah, interesting. We've just spent some time inside during Eddie Jones's press conference, haven't we? And he was talking about how tough the selection was to choose Jonathan Joseph over Benteo. But I think Hugh Jones is a fantastic player. You know, he's big, he's quick, but not only can he threaten you physically, he's the intelligent way that he plays the game. He can read lines. He looks to try and find the space in and around that sort of that wider channel, in and around those 15-metre lines, and he tends to almost ghost through holes at times, untouched. And that's just a player that reads the game well. He can tell where defenders are going. Now I would imagine that Jonathan Joseph will try and defend Scotland slightly similar to the way that he did at Twickenham, in trying to shut down those outside channels for Rhys Patchell. He'll do the same for Finn Russell, surely.
Yeah.
If you can try and pressure him to stay inside, or then to kick and then pressure his kick, we know that his kicking game's not that hot. So you know, I think there are certain places that Scotland can try and expose England. Hogg and players like Jones will be key to that.
Yeah.
But I think England will probably have enough now to try and stop them getting the ball.
Yeah, Dylan Hartley earning cap number 92, moving ahead of Johnny Wilkinson. Still got a fair way to go to catch the fun bus in Jason Leonard with 114. Joe Launchbury gets cap number 50. Eddie Jones talking about in the press conference, obviously, the work that Joe Launchbury does. Let's just hear a little bit from that now.
Look, I think he's a very good player. You know, unlucky not to go on the lines to it, but for us, he's just an important team member. He does all the hard work, great in the middle of mauls, and you know, mauling's going to be important at Murrayfield.
I don't think there are that many people left that do underrate the work that Joe Launchbury does, but good to hear Eddie Jones's thoughts on him. You may have seen, I mentioned it a few minutes ago, the pictures that have been going around, done by our friends at Cheeky Ruck. They are absolutely brilliant. And well, Tom, you had a few minutes earlier to catch up with Anthony Watson and see what he thought about, well, his teammates, himself. Enjoy this.
I'm particularly keen to learn about Haskell, top left. What are you thinking on Haskell in the?
I'd probably give Hask a miss, I won't lie. Jack Noel is very...
He touches up quite well, does he not?
Yeah, he looks very decent. Mako is the exact same, so I'd probably avoid that one.
I think Owen is as well, is he not? And then there's a new one that's come out. Everyone's talking about Alan Wynne-Jones and Lee Halfpenny.
Lee Halfpenny was... Yeah,
I thought that was a bit of a rogue one, actually, mate.
Try and catch you out.
Yeah, and then there's some interesting new ones.
I haven't seen that, but look at Marcus.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just thinking of just doing a bit of a hair trim. And what about yourself? How do you rate yourself? I mean, he's quite nice.
Right. I'll take that.
Maybe just put some extensions on. I think Dan Cole's probably the creepiest out of the lot, but.
Oh my God, Dan Cole! Look at JJ.
There's some interesting. Is
that Danny?
Yeah, that's Danny. Billy spent quite a lot of time with his eyebrows.
Oh my God!
So, yeah. There's some comfortable reading for you on the way up on the plane. Maybe that's quite a look for you.
I'll take that.
Lovely stuff. Do you think he sort of fancied a bit of himself in that one?
I think he did. Yeah. Well, he didn't actually look that different.
Yeah.
He perhaps just had a long hair. Yeah. And I just thought Lee Halfpenny was a bit of a rogue one.
Yeah.
Which is slightly even more worrying.
A stunner. Yeah. I enjoyed Welsh Dalai Lama also saying on Twitter how Alan Wynne-Jones looked like Margot Robbie and has made a scene from The Wolf of Wall Street. Completely different. Let's conclude then with some predictions on all three games, starting on Friday with France against Italy. Tom?
I will go France by 6.
France by 6. Okay, I've put a tenner on Italy, so I'm hoping they win.
Oh, wow.
Then we've got Ireland against Wales Saturday.
I'll go Ireland by 9.
Okay, and then can the Scots put up a fight against England?
England by 18.
Oh, hello! You are looking for that late push to the pedal.
Cue the abuse.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, listen, thanks very much, Tom. As always, guys, leave your comments and let us know how you think the weekend is going to go, and we will be back for a review show on Monday. That's our train. We'll be off in a bit.